I'm here with a simple story to tell. It's about a complex character, made even more so by the fact that Andy, the anatomically correct and fully functional CEO of Robotics International, is also the cognitive head of every one of the models that the company leases out to the wealthy and powerful women in the corporate world. I started my life as a screenwriter, and I believe in having a tight logline. I've got this one down to 6 words. It's interesting that there's 2 reads on it. Andy is a sexy robot story. Andy is a sexy robot story. As far as the story being sexy, I have a wonderful mentor of long standing. We were talking together about philosophy and psychology and character arc, and then she said, and of course all this time the screen is filled with these incredibly hot, sexy guys, and it's like, yeah, okay, so much for philosophy and psychology. As far as Andy being a sexy robot, he goes way beyond the original boneheaded sex bot engineer's notion that he'd be just fine as long as he had control over length and diameter and turgor. He's way beyond that. He's a wonderful conversationalist. He's interested in opera and theater and the arts. He's attentive and considerate. He's never judgmental. And he dances. The novel is 139,000 words, and as I was creating it, I mounted it serially on Wattpad as a set of 8 novellas. I mentioned at the start that my home turf is screenwriting, and Andy is no different. I began by writing the 8 teleplays, and then reverse adapted them into the novel that I'm pitching today. When you go to a writing conference or a pitch fest, the gurus and sages and wise guys who are on the panel invariably say, oh, well, you never bring any kind of props or visuals to a pitch. But I spent a long time on the covers for the novellas, and I'm going to do a better job telling this story if I use those. The story opens with Andy's first day on the job. He's on the assembly floor and he picks up a copy of his own head. Alas, poor Yorick, I knew him, Horatio, a fellow of infinite jest. And I included that Shakespeare line because Andy is a person of infinite jest. This is also Andy's head, although it looks different. Peel back the panel at Seth's temple and you'll find Andy's wiring. It's Seth's job to charm Azura, which he pretty obviously is doing because he dances. Virginia Chase asks for her android to look like he's 18. But what's inside this gorgeous young man's head is Andy. And when Will is delivered, Virginia says she wants him to woo and charm her college freshman daughter and become Elizabeth's boyfriend in an exclusive platonic relationship so that she arrives at the altar a virgin bride. Oh, and my stumble over Mrs. Robinson a second ago was not by accident. At some point, Andy models attain a level of self-awareness that the courts recognize as personhood. Episode 4 focuses on what that is and what it looks like. Azura has fallen head over heels in love with Seth and decides she wants him for a husband. For that to be meaningful, his option to say no must be as unfettered as his option to say yes. Andy instructs Seth in how to cross that crucial threshold. The Adrienne models were never designed to attain personhood, never meant to think very much, and probably talk less. Adrienne 86 does become self-aware and bolts from her lessee. Nobody ever thought an Adrienne model could make it on her own, but they were wrong. She is eventually recaptured, but she has a chat with Andy before she's given the wipe. You have that little button on your phone that you never want to touch because after you touch it, all of a sudden you've got a brand new phone that's not at all like the phone that you got to know and got to be able to use and did all kinds of things for you. Andy shows Adrienne 86 how to partition her drive so that when the wiper comes along and takes half of it away, her soul is still residing on the other side. Adrienne 86 survives the wipe, and it's her contention that she deserves to have the same hardware and software as Andy. And so the seemingly fluff-headed Marianne Faithfull Strawberry Blonde in this picture has freaking Albert Einstein in there. Why doesn't that translate into equal pay, equal treatment, and equal opportunity? In the final episode, Robotics International is threatened by the Holistic Humanist Society, a social and political organization hell-bent on eliminating all android persons. Clarence, RI's legal droid, suggests that the company must gather intelligence on the sect's plans and activities, and suggests a mole, a black mole. Everybody asks why. He says, because these people don't think we make any black Andys. So behind this incredibly engaging, captivating young man's face is Andy. And he has to deal not only with keeping his identity a secret, but also with the racism and prejudice that he encounters every day. And at the very end of the story, Andy is waxing philosophical, and he asks his mentor, Cyrus Bergen, the psychology professor who taught him everything he knows, does the world need me? Do they want me? And Cyrus answers, Andy, the world will never not need you. And of course, all this time, the screen is filled with these incredibly hot, sexy guys. And it's like, yeah, okay, so much for philosophy.